Do you want me to just walk in and sit down just so you can add that to your kind of thing? I've seen the way this works, mate, don't worry. My name's Lachlan Harburg. I'm the owner of Autohouse Storage and the cover shop, and I'm a Motorsport Tragic. This year is a big year for me. I'll be racing in the Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge, which is an internationally recognised category that's run by Porsche themselves all over the world. It's a category comprised of both professional and amateur drivers, and I'm certainly of the latter. But the first race event for this season is going to be a production sports rounds up in Warwick at a track called Morgan Park. It gives us a chance to shake down the new car for this year. I suppose have a bit of a run to shake up the cobwebs. So Production Sports is a state level championship. The cars range anywhere from Porsche Cup cars to older GT3 machinery to right back to humble old Datsuns, Mazda MX-5s. So there's a few different car classes within our race, which makes it fun. Right, so it's Saturday morning. First order of the day is qualifying. It's 15 minutes, so all you want to do is go out there and just be out on the track the whole time, be running the whole time, and just try and smash out a lap and get lucky with the traffic, and you never know when you'll end up. The qualifying me don't get along so well. I seem to have a bit of a Achilles heel when it comes to putting together one really fast lap. Just for whatever reason, my entire motorsport career, I haven't been able to get my shit together and pull a good lap in. I put together pretty rubbish laps, so it was quite a surprise when Jack came on the radio and says, "That's the checkered flag out as well, mate." So yeah, good job, P1. It was pretty scrappy. My lap time was not great at all. I got a lot faster in testing there a few weeks prior, but hey, it was my first pole. I'll take it all day, every day. Oh, fuck yeah. Sometimes people ask what the most nerve-wracking part is in motorsport. It's not the start of a race. It's not hitting 280 kilometers an hour down a straight. It's not throwing the car into a corner in fifth gear at 180 kilometers an hour. It's not the fear of danger. It's the most scary part is sitting there on the dummy grid just before you're about to go out for a race. There, time moves at an unbelievably slow pace. There, you've got a lot of time to think about everything ahead of you, and yeah, it goes forever. The world's longest wait is then over, and you're heading out on your out lap. It's absolutely imperative to generate as much heat as possible into your tyres. So weaving aggressively, we're slamming the brakes as hard as possible. We're utilising every metre to get that advantage. In this category, we do rolling starts. So we form up at 80 k's an hour, come up over the rise, wait, 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 green light, go, we're fucking on. I get a pretty decent start. I lead into turn one. Second corner, third corner under the bridge. I look in the mirror, I've gapped the field a little bit. I'm like, this is pretty good. Head down, don't look in the mirror again for a few more corners. I come up after the first lap, I come up on the main straight. I look in the mirror, I've got a huge gap to the car in second place. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is the shit. And it's a bloody awesome feeling. And then everything changes. That's the red flag. And then suddenly over the radio, Jack comes on and says, red flag, red flag. So a red flag means there's been a considerable incident in the race and the race has been cancelled. So here I was, I put the car on pole for the first time in my life. You know, probably going to win this race. So I'm frustrated. I'm on the radio saying, well, what's a red flag for? Why are we stopping? What's going on? Jack comes back on the radio and said, it's Sven. He's had a massive accident. He's rolled his car. We've come back into the pits. We've come down the pit lane. The accidents happened right at the exit of pit lane on the main straight where we pulled up. So I've got front row seats to see the scene of the crime. And it was pretty confronting. I can see this wreck of a Porsche down at the end of pit lane. I can just see parts for hundreds of meters. So you're flustered, you come in, I get out of the car straight away. I'm like, okay, is he all right? Is he all right? No one really knew.
Okay, well I can't give you any information at the moment.
Jesus Christ, that's huge.
It is huge because if you look over there, that's the mark you made.
Oh my God. We find out he's been in a 2-car accident. He's made contact at a very fast point of the track while going side by side, and he's gone off the track and hit a wall at 240 kilometers an hour, which has then shot him into the air and barrel rolled 10, 11, 12 times perhaps. It's pretty confronting. Eventually, after an eternity, you see him get pulled out of the car onto a stretcher, into an ambulance and off to hospital, but you still don't really know what's going on, and the vibe is just eerie. You don't really want to be there. You've kind of lost interest in motorsport. Your friend's just been pretty badly hurt. You don't know how bad it's going to be. It's a very strange feeling, and when a crash like this happens to anyone, it's never a good thing. But when it's to someone that, you know, half an hour previous you were throwing chat to and having a bit of banter with, it hits home a lot closer. We eventually get news that he's in a stable condition, but he's got bad injuries pretty much everywhere. The car's just destroyed, not one salvageable part, but once you get a kind of word that, you know, he's going to live and he's going to be okay, the next train of thought was, okay, how'd this happen? At the end of the day, every person that goes out into a racetrack, whether it be a Formula 1 driver or a guy going to a track day for the first time, you know that there's a risk of danger. You know there's a risk that you might not come back from those laps. You might crash, things go wrong, things break in the car, it might not be your fault. This is the risk you take, and that's what makes it so attractive. It's addictive, the danger, and that's why we do it. So the atmosphere from there on is somber. We've got one more race that afternoon. Don't really feel like doing it. Don't really want to do it, but we're there. The car's there, everyone's there. You've paid the money, okay, we'll go and do it. Hours pass, suddenly clouds emerge. Suddenly it starts raining a little bit, just enough to make you question what your tyre choice is going to be. Do you run with the dry weather tyres, the slick tyres, as you would normally in dry weather? Or is it wet enough on the road now to put your wet weather tyres on and do it safely? In this kind of racing, this grassroots racing, we can't stop halfway through the race and change our tyres. I haven't got the crew. There's not enough laps in the race to do that. They're only short races. So whatever tyre you choose at the start of the race is the tyre that you will finish the race on. So all of a sudden, everyone's becoming a part-time weatherman. Everyone's got the radar on the iPhone. You've got no idea ultimately, and it comes a time where you've got to make that crucial call. We just say, fuck it, dries are on the car, we'll go the dry weather tyres. So we go out, we wait there in the dummy grid, and it just starts raining more and more and more, and you go, I think we may have made the wrong choice. But anyway, you've come this far. All I do is I'll go out, I'll get a feel for it, we'll see how it goes. So we head out for our warm-up lap, and it's like a bloody ice skating rink. The slick tyres without grooves can't clear the standing water on the track. Any sensible person would have probably parked it, but race car drivers aren't exactly known for being sensible. We form up for the start and straight away have a brain fade and effectively mistime the start of the race, and straight away lose first place into the first corner. So I'm all over the place. You know, you're tiptoeing around at the most pedestrian speed. It feels like you could walk faster. It's an unbelievably frustrating feeling when you don't know where the grip is. I've come down into the gum tree, and it's a slow speed corner. We're just tiptoeing around there. There's a bit of a bump on the exit that upsets the car, and on a good day it upsets the car. And I put 1, 2, maybe 3% too much throttle on, and before I can even think about it, it's gone. I've spun out at an unbelievably slow speed. I watched the entire field go past me. I'm trying to get the car going again, I stall it. try to get it going again, I stall it again. And I can just see them all going to the distance, and I'm thinking, what are we doing this for? I can't look past what I've seen that morning. I'm calling it, I'm done. So I do something I've never done before, and I literally pull into the pits, park the car, that's a wrap. What's the point? There is no point. You know, I want to race that car for the rest of the year, many years to come. There's no point risking the car and risking my safety and the safety of others. So we park it, we end what's been a shit day in a pretty average way, but that's the nature of the beast in motorsport. That's the roller coaster that we're on. You get, when the days are good, they're golden, and when they're bad, they're fucking dog shit. And that was definitely the latter that day. You know, this was just a warm-up, small time event, a state level meeting, a very amateur meeting. This was just a test session really for us. You know, the big prize this year, the big focus this year is the Porsche series we'll be competing in. That's the big league. You go from being a bigger fish in a small pond to being a little prawn in the Pacific Ocean. It's going to be a shock to the system. It's going to be sobering, but sign me the fuck up. I'm keen.